And there's the other bot. He's just lagging behind. Oh shit, I'm tired. How's everybody doing? Hope you guys are doing good. It's a good day to be in the meta militia. I haven't checked our staking pools lately. You going up anymore?
All right, everybody. I forgot that I had told my son that I was gonna bring him a Reese cup, and believe me, if I didn't bring him a Reese cup, we'd all know about it at the moment. Yeah. All right, you can go ahead and start recording. My bad.
Yeah, I totally did right before you walked away, but that's on me. It's gonna be like 3 minutes of silence, but
I think
my bad.
you know what. You're good. I think I think Dustin was actually talking about working on doing some editing and stuff too anyway. So I think that might be something that he could work on, and a good one would be that. Hey, edit out that first minute of that last recording. Anyways, uh thank you everybody for joining me. Good afternoon. I hope everybody's had a fantastic day or is having a fantastic day if your day is just getting started or you're still in the middle of it. I know everybody comes from different backgrounds and does different things for a living. Some of you are working right now, even listening to us talk, and I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to join us. I try not to waste anybody's time with these. I try to get to the point and just get around to the basics, the good stuff. That being said, this evening I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the economy of the project. And what I mean by that is I want to kind of just do a quick overview of everything we've done so far, how we got here, and some of the future plans for revenue streams and how things will continue to operate moving forward and then far into the future. So, first and foremost, I wanted to clue everyone in case they weren't here in the beginning on how we launched to begin with. The way we launched was a true fair launch. Everybody who purchased pre-sale, they purchased the pre-sale bag at the exact same price of market listing. So they didn't get an additional 20% bonus or anything like that. Everybody who purchased paid the exact same price. We did have two tiers of our pre-sale. There was a friends and family, and those were people who knew me personally or one of the team members personally, and or were professionally involved with us through the crypto space itself. So either they were community members from other projects that we'd been attached to, or possibly even other team members from other projects, something of that sort. All of those people who were involved in the original inception of the project itself, they were allowed to purchase 2 trillion tokens. Yeah, right. That is correct. The 2 trillion for the friends and family, and then we knocked it down to 1 trillion. Nick, I'm asking. Oh, he left and came back.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
cool.
It was 2 trillion at first, and then we cut it in half, I think, and then it was 1 trillion.
Okay, just making sure I had the facts correct before I proceeded. Yeah,
Nope,
2
you're good.
trillion for everybody who is in the friends and family pre-sale bags, and then 1 trillion for a more public offering of pre-sale. But everybody who paid that price all paid the exact. Everybody paid the exact same price, no matter when they bought pre-sale or actually at the very first launch from PancakeSwap. The price that we had was the exact same price that the first buyers from PancakeSwap as well. Nobody got anything extra. Everybody who had tokens bought their token. 100% of the BNB that was raised from the pre-sale itself was put into liquidity, and the administrative costs and marketing costs of the project itself covered by the founders and the team members. Founders' wallets and bags made public. Team wallets were not the entire team has been made public. I do have those wallets, and I can make that semi-public to some degree. I could put the wallets out there and just not say who they belong to. But long story short, not a single token from a team wallet, um, founders wallets, anything like that has ever been sold. Never will be sold. Uh, they just don't. Those were set up strictly for BUSD reflections or BUSD rewards. Um, the only time that we have shifted tokens out of any of the founders' wallets, of course, was here recently whenever we started the staking pools. Um, we went ahead and wanted to get those staking pools and the farming up and running as soon as possible. And we did have the plan to cover that cost with the vested tokens that we have locked in DXL. That being said, we saw the market, we knew what was going on, and we wanted to make sure that we could still provide rewards for our holders. And the easiest way for us to do that was to offer some staking and some farming. So we thought that it was worth the cost of surrendering all the tokens that we had over to provide that service. So that's what we decided to do. We did it, and that's the only time any of those tokens have ever moved out of any of those wallets. Um, that being said, those tokens will be replaced whenever the vested tokens unlock. All the tokens that were surrendered over for the farming and for the staking will be replenished within the founders' wallets and additional team wallets. Throughout the life of the project itself, there are taxes and built into the contract. Everybody notices the BUSD rewards that they receive. As well, we have the marketing, the buyback, burn tax itself, and then an added liquidity fee as well. So that covers the base economic structure of the project. Along with that, of course, team members and founders have continuously contributed along the way for marketing and continued administrative cost. We will have these capital raise events, such as the one coming up right around the corner, the NFT launch. That'll provide a injection of capital that'll go directly towards marketing and then additional products. And we will continue to have numerous NFT launches, as well as a couple other additional um, soon to be announced offerings. Um, some game stuff. The first game offering that we're looking to release isn't going to be necessarily a revenue generator. It's not designed to be. It's just supposed to be interactive. Just something that we're going to be surrendering over to the public, allowing you guys to use, interact with on a browser. So you'll be able to use this from your phone, uh, any browser, PC, whatever. Uh, but it'll be an arcade edition into the Metaverse itself. So we'll be adding it into the MVC lobby. I don't want to get caught up talking about that too much though, because I want to stay on the economy itself. Anyways, so these NFT launches, those will be capital raise events that'll allow us to inject additional money into marketing and other administrative costs uh, as we move forward. But currently, all of the development costs, administrative costs, um, that's primarily covered by the team itself, and will continue to be until the project itself is at a stage that it can support it. Um, I don't want anyone to be concerned or get concerned about the project or the team's funding. Um, we have that covered ourselves. We know what we're doing here. We obviously we have the public buyback and marketing wallets there, so you know that we have funds sitting there available currently, and those funds continue to grow. We continue to use those as well. We have additional plans to raise some other capital um, through other means that we'll discuss in the future, near future. That being said, once we actually slide into our uh, actual product offerings within the metaverse, we'll have quite a few revenue streams established through some of our even really early initial product offerings. Um, I've talked about it recently about how initially we're going to be doing some partnerships that we will have to on our own flip some of the development costs. A lot of that just has to do with providing the general proof of concept to other vendors that we're looking to onboard. What I mean by that is I was talking already about building out brew labs, their own individual space that will allow their customers to interact with not just their platform, but as well their token and use their token within their space. But providing that service for brew labs, of course, will be a developmental cost trade. They will help flip the bill on um, getting that done as well. We won't charge them anything for listing or providing them uh, server access and development access from our end. That being said, in the future, shortly after that, the very next partner or the very next vendor that we bring on board, there would be an actual charge up front from these vendors from these projects. They can pay it within their tokens. They can pay it within BNB, and depending on other brand partners, they might actually be paying this in fiat. We have our LLC, we're registered business, so we can operate as such, and we can just accept fiat. And if it's like a retail partner of sorts that doesn't actually operate in the crypto space currently, we can be that bridge into the crypto space for them, and we can do their operations for their tax purposes in fiat. Anyways, um, listing fees though will be a crucial part of the initial um, revenue stream that we'll be setting up to continue to expand and cover the development cost on our metaverse experience. Getting from where we are now into the initial listing stages, uh, that part's fairly easy and um, low cost to cover from now till there. But then once we start to expand rapidly with different partners and onboarding additional experiences, that cost exponentially grows very, very quickly, especially if more people continue to on ramp and actually spend time in the experience, which is what we want them to do. The more time people are in, the more money, or sorry, that sounds so greedy. Uh, the more time that they're in, the more experiences that they're able to have, the more MBC altogether benefits. So, and that's through exposure, that's through revenue generation, that's through many things. Sorry. As well, dependent on what the project is that is coming into the space, certain brand or certain partners will need their own individual space. Other ones won't. They will either it will either not be uh, fiscally beneficial to them, or um, sorry, I'm trying to think of exactly the way I want to put this. Either way, they might need to join a general marketplace space. And what I mean by that is some brands and partners might be large enough that they want their own like NFT store, but then other ones might not be quite at that stage yet, or maybe not even have as many offerings as someone else. So they will be in a more generalized space that's completely built and organized and developed and managed by MVC. In that case, there's not necessarily a listing fee per their item, but maybe there's just a slice of the revenue. So there's just a tax on their individual transactions that is directly um, spun into more than likely uh, wrapped BNB, and then we would just pull the BNB and do something with that wrapped BNB from there. That's just the easiest more than this. Hopefully we would also be offering the ability to purchase, especially if it's on BSC. You would just offer the ability to purchase in their token as well to help facilitate commerce altogether, and then just route that purchase through MBC on the back end. Um, but that's technical talk. We can continue on with that at a different point. Anyhow, so not just the listing fees themselves for actual brand partnerships that are coming on board, and as well using the swap itself, but we will have revenue sharing between project partners, especially definitely within like the NFT space itself. If if they need us to handle all of the onboarding and stuff like that, we'll have to charge something just to make sure that we continue to cover costs. But because we'll have to continue to hire more and more developers, so on and so forth. But from there, we also plan on offering another large portion of the revenue itself will be asset within the VR space. So it's separate from your NFTs because your NFTs are on chain. This will be something that's off chain, but it's just a 3D asset that you will be able to purchase and import into your own private space. Some of these will carry no attributes at all, other than what its physical attributes are, such as like a chair, a desk, a light, whatever, a decoration. But some of these will actually carry true attributes, give you Web3 functionality, give you browser functionality, media functionality, stuff like that. So you won't be able to do all of these individual things within your own little space on the open lobby unless you either accrue a certain rank or or you purchase the item. So that'll be something that'll be a direct revenue stream funneled straight into NBC, um, with no cuts in it or anything like that because it'll be an off-chain product. So while they are purchasing it, so on and so forth, we just carry that transfer from uh, function and then release that asset as soon as that transfer from function is called from the item. But since it's not starting on chain, there's no tax there, if that makes sense. You're not transferring out of that wallet going straight through the router. It's flagged, that asset is released. Anyhow, that I believe, whether or not it sounds like it right now, will be one of like the larger revenue generators starting out. Especially being able to provide really, really cool asset. In the background, I've been spending the past couple of days talking to different 3D modelers, people who do this full time, all the time, working on exactly what the ongoing costs for expansion will be, trying to work out exactly what rate um, we will be able to afford to continue to onboard these people because we are kind of getting to a point where, as a team, we're going to need to start to consider onboarding some of these guys just to just to speed up the process. I've spoke about it from the beginning. We have the backbone and the structure, the framing of exactly everything that we want to do. We have that down, and believe it or not, like that's the cool part. That's the part that a lot of other people have been struggling with, importing a lot of the Web3 functionality um, into a functional VR space. It's not as easy as it would seem, uh, but we have that part down. That part we're good with. We're there functioning already. We're making plenty of calls, and it's working fine. It gets complicated once you expand widely, but we have have ways of continuing to we have ways of continuing to work this out as we go on. But we are quickly running into a bottleneck here of getting assets rendered and propagated. So soon we'll probably continue. We'll probably start to expand on that team. Try to do a little bit more outreach, bring some more people on. Of course, all dependent on how some of the steps go from now till then, on how quickly we're able to pull the trigger on some of that stuff. But right now, we're wanting to move very quickly on some of these items. It'll be what holds us back on releasing from just a okay experience to a really, really amazing experience that you would um, love, talk about, and would actually catch on the way it's supposed to, if that makes sense. We don't want to release anything that's going to be a letdown. And we've grown strong um, and held strong so far. So I think we definitely have a community that's interested in what we've got going on, and I definitely don't want to let you guys down. So we're working all this out. There is um, there is a few key items that we're definitely working on in the in the near term, right this very second. And we'll have announcements for you guys here in the next couple of days. That'll get everybody excited for what we've got going on right now. But I feel like we hadn't talked about some of the term stuff, and I try to keep it 100% honest with everybody and open 100% with everyone, and have no fear or no concern about our VR wallet vault. We'll get that out quickly, easily, no expansion of the team needed. But before we can really get everybody in an open VR lobby, like bank setting, that's something that I want to put out before everyone. We'll probably be doing some new hires uh, sooner rather than later and getting to work on some 3D assets renderings for the lobby itself. Um, we're just running really slow on that part of everything. Everything else is moving along very, very quickly. And if I had more free time myself, maybe I would personally be able to step in and uh, help speed up that process a little bit. And hey, that'll come as soon as I get done with this first NFT drop. As soon as we get this NFT drop out, I'll have a lot more freedom and I'll be able to dive in there myself, which I personally have been missing out on. I haven't jumped on Unity in God knows how long now. Weeks and weeks, like 8 weeks now. Um, so I would love to jump back into that work. I just haven't had a chance to. That being said, like I said earlier, I have already been talking to some people in the background to do this full time. They're willing to help out. We're just working out the pricing when we can start to do that type of expansion. Um, we'll definitely need to make sure we hit our first capital raise event. I don't want to slow down on anything, and we're theoretically starting like Monday evening, Tuesday, going to be starting a new marketing push. Uh, so I want to make sure we do that first, that done with, have a good marketing push, good marketing expansion on the second part of next week, leading up to NFTs. Will be coming out very, very soon. Get that nailed down, knocked out. All that goes well, we'll then start NFT line number 2, along with getting our VR wallet vault out to the public. Again, the first initial release of that uh, will be essentially a finished product. We'll put it out as a beta, just because you can't. I mean, a team our size, we can't test every single thing properly to the degree that you'd want to before you have a product that you would call finished. So we'll put out the product the way we have it, and we'll go from there. We'll call it a beta. We'll release it, um, kind of expand on that. Allow everybody to do kind of some open testing on it. Again, it'll be functional as far as what you need it to want it to do. As far as an actual VR experience, um, there'll be some stuff I'm sure that everybody will have some input on. Anyhow, there any questions that anybody has for me? I didn't even check any of the question areas before I hopped in here, so I'm gonna kind of do that now. Well, no money for staking yet. I wish he was in here. I don't think he's in the chat. But you don't need money to stake, bud. I guess you probably need like $2 in gas fees or something like that. Maybe $2. But oh well. One more click. I need to check the actual question area. Okay. Well, there's no questions put in the AMA questions area, and usually by now, if Matt Hatter had anything, he already would have got my attention. But I don't think he has anything, and everyone else seems pretty quiet. The other thing that I would mention, as far as like the overall economy of the project, especially late stage, at first we will be providing the liquidity for our first couple pools. So I've talked about wanting to bridge to Ethereum, bridge to Sol, and somebody else mentioned another one that they really wanted to bridge to early on, specifically for NFTs. I can't remember which one, but those two for sure. Again, I think there's a third, but let's just go with those two at first. So, especially obviously Ethereum, we would be providing that liquidity up front. We'll pay for that pool, we'll build that bridge. But shortly after we get rolling, projects that are interested in coming on board with us will allow us to take their tokens to build our own liquidity. In the case of Ethereum, even if it's like just an ERC token, an ERC20 token, you could still then take those ERC20 tokens and just add to our liquidity for a bridge for our own MBC bridge to Ethereum. Give everybody I don't know how that works. You can use it for other things as well. Ideally, you have to, of course, use it to provide the liquidity for their project. You can trading on that token as well, but they pay you a whole lot of extra tokens than what's necessary. So you take the extra tokens, you start to pool them together, and you create larger like BNB pools, larger ERC pools, and then you can do whatever you want with those pools. You can cash them in, pool money, resource it to a different token such as BUSD, and then provide BUSD rewards to people who are staking NFTs, maybe different things like that. But it is all, of course, dependent on a little upfront cost from the project, building out a couple of proof of concepts, allowing people to see how that function works, and then expanding from there. You've seen that already, like in theory at least, with SafeMoon. SafeMoon's wallet and swap, those first couple tokens on SafeMoon swap, they all had a couple things like in common. I'm sure everybody saw that. They all had like same QT members involved with every single one of those projects. And then they really opened it up to all these other tokens that are now trying their very hardest to list on and paying these exorbitant fees. You're paying like a listing fee cost and some sort of BNB, then you're also providing the liquidity for the pool. Overall, it ends up costing the project a good little bit, or tying up everything a good little bit. And just them, even as large as they were at the time, they still had to provide the service for some people almost for free early on for a couple of reasons. A, to test it all out, to make sure it's all working the way they need it to, between like an insider group that's not going to FUD it all together across the board. And the other reason um, is because that's just the way where you cover that cost to make sure that it's working, a value incentive that's worth it, and then from there you're able to charge money um, for that service. And it works in the business world. Alrighty, is there any other questions that anybody, or any questions to begin with that anybody has for me? Awesome. Well, look, guys, I really appreciate you all. Thank you for being here with me this evening. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll put the AMA on earlier in the day tomorrow just to catch the other time. I know a couple of these ones this week were like fairly early, 4 o'clock and stuff like that, but I'll try to do one like at noon. Or wait, is tomorrow Sunday? Tomorrow is Sunday, isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. So let's do like I'll do 2 o'clock tomorrow, and I'll go ahead and set the event on now. I know there's quite a few churchgoers in here. If I do 2 o'clock my time, I think that pushes it past church for everybody almost. Maybe 3 o'clock, because I think California is like 3 hours behind. So 3 o'clock my time, and that'll be like 10 o'clock UK time. So yeah, 3 o'clock. I'll set the event now. Thank you all, everybody, for joining me this evening. I'll see you all tomorrow.